The next question, the member for Orléans.
Mr. Speaker, the financial impact of COVID-19 on Ontario's municipalities is real and it's staggering. Ontario residents rely on municipalities to provide critical services each and every day, and COVID-19 is crippling their finances. Mississauga is projecting a $100 million shortfall. In Ottawa, they're burning $1 million a day, and here in Toronto, the capital of our great province, they're projecting a loss of $1.5 billion. This will mean tens of thousands of Ontario residents are laid off, and residents will see massive increases to property taxes and bus fares. It should be clear to everyone that no economic recovery is possible without a solution to the municipal financial crisis. We've called for the establishment of a $4 billion emergency fund. Municipal leaders are pleading for help. My question, Mr. Speaker, is to the Premier. When will the province provide direct operating support to Ontario's municipalities?
To respond, the Government House Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as you know, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, along with the Minister of Finance, have been working very closely with our federal partners to bring forward a program that we were very clear in saying that we needed assistance from the federal government for our municipalities. Now, I know yesterday, I believe, the federal government did advance some funds that had already been committed. That's a good start, but as the Premier said, we need significant additional funds. Many of the municipalities had already accounted for the funds that were released by the federal government that had been previously delayed by the federal government. They've already accounted for that in their budgeting. And as we've said, we are going to need some additional help from the federal government. I think this is something that you've heard from municipalities, not just only in Ontario, but across the country. So I know the Premier, our Premier, and the Premiers across Canada have been asking for the federal government to do a bit more to help us on this, Mr. Speaker, and we wait anxiously for that additional support. Thank you.
Thank you. The supplementary question.
Well, Mr. Speaker, Toronto's mayor has said that there have been a lot of encouraging words, and I think we've just heard some more. But of course, encouraging words don't pay the bills. Ontario's large urban mayors are projecting a $415 million revenue loss in transit for April to June alone. And without provincial leadership, big cities will have no choice but to slash bus routes and raise bus fares. There will be no economic recovery in Ontario if our big cities don't get back on transit, and transit will fail without provincial leadership. The federal government has said that they'll be there to support provincial leadership in supporting municipalities and public transit. To the Minister of Transportation, will the government guarantee that bus routes won't be cut and fares won't go up because of their delay in providing support to transit?
Government House Leader.
Well, I thank the honourable member for his question. We've been very clear from the outset that we were going to need the assistance of the federal government in a pan-Canadian response to the COVID crisis. They have been very good partners to this point, but I think the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, the Ontario Association of Municipalities have been equally clear that they need additional support and assistance from the federal government. We have, when he talks about transit and transportation, the honourable member will know that the government has made a significant commitment to transit and transportation across the province of Ontario, almost a $30 billion commitment. There are a number of projects that have been waiting approval of the federal government when it comes to transit and transportation through the Canada Infrastructure Program. We made some progress, limited progress yesterday when the federal government finally released monies that had already been committed. But I agree with the member, there is more to do. This government is ready to do more, and we will do it in cooperation with our federal partners as we have throughout this crisis. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The next question, the member for Oshawa.